Welcome to the grand final for the opening round of the 2014 Central and Eastern European Rotax MiniMax Championship. You can see, contrary to the pre-final, they've got the slicks back on again. The conditions have improved. I think we saw they were improving as we went through. We had a dominant performance by Szymon Urbaniak, but a great recovery from Piotr Wisnicki in that pre-final to get up to second position. So he's going to be hoping to make it count this time. Unfortunately, we've got a non-starter in 421 Skolzmark, who's going to be devastated with that after finishing fourth in the pre-final. So everybody's sort of in effect bumping up, and we're ready to take the start in this 12-lap race in these glorious sunshine conditions, very different to what we've had this morning. As we look to see the still side by side, almost as if they're still on the formation start there. Everybody's cleanly through. Remember, we had and I say that, and we've got carnage. Unfortunately, I think that was 424. I saw, was it Span in the middle? Nick Prunk is going to be disappointed with that. I think we saw 413 Major Bons. Has everybody been able to get going? We'll have to wait and see. But at the moment, we've actually got, is it 408 that's in the lead? No, it's not. It is 403. Sorry, 8 and the 3 looking very similar there. I think that is Szymon Urbaniak that has got that lead at the moment. In second place, that green and white cart. It's got another cart absolutely glued to him at the moment. So Piotr Wisnicki has got Lucas Dunner absolutely glued to the back. 0.122. Really, it looked like it was less than that as they went. I thought he was giving him a toe as they went across the finish line there. You see the difference in the times. We had the fastest lap this morning was 1 minute flat, and we've already got on that first lap, Szymon Urbaniak did a 52.7. So in these dry conditions, obviously, unsurprisingly, they're able to take it even faster. So it is Szymon Urbaniak just stretching away a little bit. He did finish 12.5 seconds ahead of second place this morning in the pre-final. Now, what's he going to be able to do in this grand final? Piotr Wisnicki is going to be hoping to stay up with them. Obviously, he spun, which dropped him down the grid, but he was the one that was only 12.5 seconds behind in that second place with the fastest lap. Talking of fastest lap, as they complete their second lap of this 12-lap race, Lucas Dunner has just put in the fastest lap so far, and he's got himself up into second. Sorry, I missed that he's actually overtaken Piotr Wisnicki. And I'm sure Piotr Wisnicki's not going to be happy with that, but well, how's he going to be in these dry conditions? Although I think it's fair to say that the conditions were drying by towards the end of that race, because the times were dramatically falling down. It really was incredible watching Szymon Urbaniak in the pre-final, where he was taking almost a second off of his fastest lap every single lap. What's he going to be able to do in these dry conditions? He hasn't managed to shake off the attentions of the following two carts of Lucas Dunner and Piotr Wisnicki quite like he was in the first race. As we have now completed 3 laps, and the fastest lap of the race that time on the third lap went to Piotr Wisnicki. So they're kind of changing, swapping fastest laps, these front 3 at the moment. Is this going to be a race-long tussle between all 3 of them? There's every possibility. Of course, Szymon Urbaniak is going to be hoping that he's going to be able to shake off the attentions of them and then just stretch away. Remember, when they're this close, he's having to sort of periodically look back, see where everyone is, maybe even take defensive lines, whereas once he pulled out the gap he had in the pre-final, he didn't have to worry about that. The 3 of these have pulled away nicely. I mean, 4th place, 419 Niktas Bekieres was nearly 3 seconds behind the 3rd place Piotr Wisnicki, and as we come across the line, it's Lucas Dunner has put in that fastest lap, but we can see this tussle for 4th, 5th and 6th. So it's currently in 4th we've got 419 Niktas Bekieres just holding off the attentions of 422, which is Kumutsi Balash, and in 6th is Anze Dujak in 455. But this is the lead battle, and you see that Szymon Urbaniak really has not been able to take that lead. He's dragging all three of those carts along in a train. Still Lucas Dunner second, who put in the fastest lap on that 4th lap then as last time across the line. And you can see that Piotr Wisnicki He's enjoying the fact that he's up there at the sharp end from the start in this race. Look at that. Szymon Urbaniak is even having to take a slightly defensive line over towards the right as he went across the finish line. He's still holding on. He is looking back slightly, but I wouldn't say he's getting unduly worried. You know, he is still... but no, that would have been the outside for this corner. I thought that we were going to see Lucas Dunne try to take a different line there and over. Oh, he had a look up the inside there though, didn't he? Wasn't quite close enough. That's just scrubbed off a little bit of speed. That now means that Pietro Wisnicki is absolutely glued to him again. So these three are having an absolutely titanic tussle for that first position. They're all on the podium at the moment, but those in second and third aren't happy with second and third. They want to take that victory. They want to show Szymon Urbaniak that dominant victory in the pre-final is not something that he can get used to. And in fact, you'll see it there that I thought we were going to see the move by Lucas Dunne. Their times are a little bit slower than their best so far. So this battle between the three of them is slowing them down ever so slightly, but not enough for the fourth place onwards carts of Nikitas Bekieres, Kamutsi Gargo. Sorry, not Gargo. Kamutsi Balash, sorry, my apologies. And Anzi Dujak to close in on them. He had the inside line. Lucas Dunne did actually have the inside line then on Szymon Urbaniak. But you see what happens is you have to carefully pick, where am I going to make this move? He had the inside line, but where he lost a little bit of the speed on the exit of the corner, he instantly had the attention of Pietro Wisnicki to be aware of. Awesome battle between these three as they come across to complete their 7th lap out of this 12-lap race. So 5 laps left to go. It really is great speed that we're getting through this race now. I mean, the dry conditions means the lap times are considerably quicker. Almost, well, about 9 seconds a lap quicker. So a big difference it makes. Unsurprisingly, but it's very interesting to see that difference. And we saw still the three-way battle for 4th, 5th and 6th is still raging on behind there. It's still, that 4th is being held still by Nikitas Bekieres, and then it's Kamutsi Balash that is then just behind him in 5th, and then Anzi Dujak in 6th. But there's still this lead battle between the three, glued together, equidistant, and we saw he's jinking one way then the other is Lucas Dunne. He's just put in the fastest lap of the race, only for that to then be beaten by Pietro Wisnicki. So they're trading fastest laps of the race at the moment, and in fact that time by Pietro Wisnicki was the first one to go down into the 0.866 compared to 51s for the other two. So great time there by Pietro Wisnicki. Is he going to be able to make that move? They're kind of holding station on these positions, but constantly looking like they're going to be able to make that move. 8 laps down, 4 left to go. Oh, a bit of bumping and boring there, but not enough to clip him out. So he's going to be a bit relieved with that. As we see the little bit of shaking under braking there, as they come across to complete their 9th lap. So 3 laps left to go, and yep, he's taking the very defensive line is Szymon, and Lucas Dunne was hoping to see if he could do something around the outside, but the door was firmly slammed shut by Szymon Urbaniak. Oh, and there we see Pietro Wisnicki is again looking to make that move on Lucas Dunne. Considering these drivers are between the ages of 9 and 14, their ages belying their skills that they're showing here, because they are showing that they can tussle with the cart in front, defend from the cart behind them. It really is impressive to see. These, all 3 of these, without question, we need to keep an eye on these. Not just over this year, but as the years progress. I think there's some high quality drivers in this field. I think they would be contesting, even up in the seniors, they'd be doing great already. As they come across to complete their 10th lap, so they're now starting their penultimate lap, and again side by side. It really does look that Lucas Dunne is able to take just a little bit more speed than Szymon Urbaniak onto that final start-finish straight, but not quite enough to get alongside. Szymon Urbaniak has seen that, and oh, they were side by side on the exit there, and side by side again, but no, Szymon Urbaniak masterfully has got that inside line covered. Lucas Dunne can smell that victory. He's so close to managing to make that move on Szymon Urbaniak, but Szymon is making that the widest cart possible. The racecraft on display here is absolutely outstanding. I'm so impressed with what we're able to see here. These youngsters are proving themselves to be great drivers as they come across to take the last lap board as they come across now. See that Szymon Urbaniak didn't have to be quite so defensive that time. There was a little bit more of a gap. He's certainly defensive as he heads into that hairpin though, covering the inside line. Oh, and we saw some dust being kicked up by someone in the background. Is that battle for 4th, 5th and 6th, which incidentally Nikitas Bekieris has still got 4th, but Andrzej Dujak has moved up to 5th ahead of Kamutsi Balash. So they're still going, and in fact Balash was only 0.026 behind Andrzej Dujak, who by the looks of it Nikitas Bekieris is going to be relieved. He's shaken off the attention of those two at the moment with a bit more of a gap. And if talking of that, so's our leader Szymon Urbaniak has just managed to shake off the attentions a little bit there of Lukas Duner. In fact, Lukas Duner is having to be aware of Pietro Wisnicki, but as they come across to take the checkered flag, there's the win for Szymon Urbaniak. 2 wins from 2. What a great start to the season for Szymon. Absolutely wonderful performance. Second place was Lukas Duner. That's a 3rd and then a 2nd in here. So again, a great performance there. As still the lower positions battling hard. That was that for 5th, 6th and in tussle as they came across the line. So in 3rd place 488 Pietro Wisnicki after a great comeback in the pre-final. He's actually finished 3rd in this race after a 2nd from all that way down in the field in the pre-final. So that's a 2nd and a 3rd for Pietro Wisnicki, a 3rd and a 2nd for Lukas Duner, 2 victories for Szymon Urbaniak. In 4th was 419 Nikitas Bekieris, who had the incredible attention from Andrzej Dujak and Kamutsi Balash for most of that race, but managed to just pull away and secure that 4th position, so a great performance there. In 5th was 455 Andrzej Dujak, 6th was 422 Kamutsi Gargo, in 9th was 416 Hargitai Levante. Apologies if Lavonta, sorry, I probably pronounced that wrong. I do apologise, Hargitai. And in 10th was 409 Caprich Matus, or Matus Caprich. And we had 2 retirements, 413 and 421 Major Bonds, Kurzmark. But in 11th place was 424 Nick Prunk. Great performance, opening round of the Rotax MiniMax Championship 2014.